Hi everybody, Elizabeth here with Country Peony, and you want to know all about felting needles. Well, I've got a great video for you talking all about felting needles and why they are crucial for the needle felting process. But before we get into that, I wanted to tell you about my beginner-friendly needle felting course. So I truly want to inspire you just to get started with needle felting and to take all the guesswork out. And so I created Needle Felting 101. And if you use the code YouTube, you can get $20 off the course at checkout. All of the details are in the description below, so please check that out and please let me know if you have any questions. Now let's get to this really fun video that I created for the course. Okay, so now I want to talk about felting needles because felting needles are very important for the needle felting process. And since this is a beginner course, I thought it'd be really helpful to talk about this because when I started my needle felting journey, I was very confused because there are a lot of felting needles out there and I really did not know which ones to use. So let's get started. So the difference between a felting needle and a regular sewing needle is that it has barbs on it and it's also in a specific design or style. And so I will link some of my favorite felting needles to get started with below. But again, since this is a beginner course, I just want to give you the basics. Okay, there are two things that I want to talk about when it comes to the needles. There's the style and there's also the weight. So the weight comes in different gauges, anywhere from 32 gauge to 42 gauge. And the lower the gauge, the thicker the wool that you're working with. The higher the gauge, the finer the wool that you're working with. And so I recommend kind of sticking in between the 38 gauge because that will get you needles that will work for thicker wools and thinner wools. And then as you continue to advance in your needle felting journey, then you will do your own research and you will use different wool that's a little bit finer or a little bit thicker and you can go from there. But if you're just getting started like you are today, then I highly recommend sticking somewhere in the middle. Okay, so for the next one, I wanted to get a little bit closer up because I wanted to show you the needles up close. So let's talk about the style. When I choose my felted needles, I tend to go triangular style. We've got three different styles to worry about. Triangle, which has a triangle at the top. We've also got a star, which has a star shape on the top. And then there is a spiral style that is spiraled. And so you can tell that these clover needles that I got, they have a triangular shape at the top. And then you can also see there's barbs on there. And that is what the felted wool will grab onto to create the actual felt. So for today's purposes, I highly recommend going with a triangular felted needle to get started with. So I hope you feel a little bit more confident when choosing your felted needles. Again, I will link my favorites below. But as a general rule, I recommend starting with triangular shaped needles and then a 38 gauge weight if you can. So, and also don't overthink this, just have fun with it. And if one needle doesn't work for you, you can try another one. I also recommend always having needles on standby because you will break your needles in the process and you want to continue your project without having to wait for another batch to come through. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you feel inspired to start your own needle felting journey now. Again, please let me know if you have any questions and put them in the comments below. I'm happy to answer them. And as a reminder, I would love for you to join me in my Needle Felting 101 course, all about needle felting for beginners. If you use the code YouTube, you can get $20 off at checkout. Let me know if you have any questions. I cannot wait to needle felt with you. And if you want to see more needle felting tips and fun and whimsical crafts and spaces, I would also love for you to join me here on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, happy crafting.